call this meeting to order tonight. Thank you all for joining us. Councilwoman Cuellar, if you would be so kind.
Almighty God and Father, we give you thanks and praise for the blessing of this day, for blessing each and every one of us, and also blessing our beautiful community here in Irondale. Lord, we need your help throughout this evening as councils who are entrusted with governing the city. We ask that you guide us in decisions we make this evening, and in our executive session, our discussions. May everything that we do be all for your glory. We remember those who can't be with us due to infirmities, and we ask for their expeditious healing recovery. And we offer this in the name of your precious Son, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much for that. Roll call. Councilman London.
Present.
Councilwoman Cuellar.
Here.
Councilman Box.
Present.
Councilman Sims.
Here.
And myself present as well. Let's see here. At this time, we'd be looking for the approval of the minutes from the regular city council meeting on May the 3rd of 2022.
Motion to approve the minutes of May 3rd, 2022.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposed. All right. Also, at this time, looking for approval for any, for the current bills.
Make a motion, we pay the current bills of $412,000, $813.89.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right. Now, at this time, we'd be looking for any professional or consultants to deliver us a report tonight. Any professional consultants for a report? All right. At this time, Mayor, we'd be looking for your report.
All right, Council President, I appreciate it. How's everyone doing tonight?
Ours.
I said, how's everyone doing tonight?
Doing good.
I appreciate it. Wanted to see if you all were out there live, because you were at the greatest council meeting that you could be at tonight, the city of Irondale.
That's right.
I'm Mayor James Douglas Stewart Jr. I'm happy to have everybody here. I thought I'd just add a little laughter to what's going on. The way that I'm going to do this, I'm going to give a report of the things that I've done since the last council meeting. Then I'm going to ask Ms. Liz Sims to come up from the Freshwater Land Trust. She had some very important information that she wants to be able to share with the council. And then we're going to allow our political candidates to come up and to be able to give your 3-minute spiel on why we should elect you to be in office. I'll proceed from there. On May 3rd, I was awarded, I was a 2022 Allies YWCA of Central Alabama recipient. I received this award because I believe in empowering women and trying to make a difference with eradicating inequalities out of our community. We had the second annual Mayor's Prayer Breakfast on National Day of Prayer. It was an exciting event. We had over 300 individuals in attendance, and we had 36 sponsors. Also, I would like to thank Ms. Kimberly Miles-Stewart, as well as Ms. Emma Talbert, for helping us to be able to put on a fantastic event. I hope everybody enjoyed it that had a chance to be able to attend. Also on that same day, I went to the Greater Birmingham Convention and Tourism event at Ross Bridge, and it was talking about how it's important to have a plan to strategically to be able to bring tourism into your city. One of the things that they talked about, and Irondale already has these assets, they talked about the natural assets that we have here in the city, which is Ruffner on one end, we have the Cahaba on the other end, and we have people to bike and hike and do whatever they want to do in between that. So one of the goals of the city of Irondale is to make sure that we can capitalize on that. So I'm looking forward to putting together a strategic recreational plan to be able to use that not only to benefit the citizens here, but also to attract people into the community. On the 7th of May, I had a chance to eat a bunch of barbecue and chicken. I was invited to be the judge at the Mount Hebron Baptist Church, had a grilling contest, and there were 5 participants. I was glad it was only 5 participants because you had to eat from each one of those tables. And I'm trying to be able to control my weight. I got a class reunion coming up in about 3 months, so I won't look the same. But I did have a chance to be able to taste, all of the meat. And one of the individuals that worked here, Tim, that works in the water department, actually won an honorable mention. So I wanted to thank Mount Hebron for inviting me to that event. On May the 9th, we had John Archibald was here in the council chamber talking about his book, Shaking the Gates. There were about 30 individuals that kind of showed up in the midday to be able to participate with him, and that was a wonderful event as well. May 11th through the 13th, I was at the Alabama League of Municipalities. I had a great time being able to network with other municipal officials, as well as, again, to talk with some individuals at the state that works in the Economic Development Department at the University of Alabama about helping the city to capitalize on recreational opportunities. On May 13th, I spoke at Awards Day for Shades Valley High School, and I really talked, my little spiel was I encouraged all the students to be able to love their parents. They would not be in the position that they're currently in if it wasn't because they had great parents. On May the 14th, we had a grand opening, wasn't in the city of Irondale, but Stuart Welch and myself participated in a wood cutting for Compton Ace Hardware Store. I also want to thank Council President Spivey for making that happen. I've been to a bunch of ribbon cuttings, but I've never been to where they cut a piece of wood for the ribbon cutting. So I want to thank you for that, Council President. Also, we had the multi-sport committee meeting met last night. I know Ms. Jenny Brown was here in attendance, and they talked about how we can, what are some of the signature events, or what can we do to continue to be able to promote multi-sports in the city of Irondale. On Thursday, May the 19th, we will have our grand opening for the water department. I had a chance to be able to go by there today, and individuals are really enjoying the drive-through. Where they don't have to get out the car, especially for seniors. It works very well for ones who still like to drop the bill off. So I want to thank Jared and Greg and Kenton and Tuck. I'm just going to thank everybody because I don't want somebody to come back and say I left their name out. But they really were doing a great job being able to do that. Also, we were supposed to have a sports camp on Saturday, but it has been postponed until June the 11th. 2022. I'd like to thank Trey Cheney and Coach Nelson for going to the United Youth Football of Alabama on Sunday, and they're going to let the city of Irondale be a part of that league. We plan on having 4 teams, and we're also working with Trent Richardson to be able to have a travel team as well. So not only will we have a team that would be our recreational team, or rec team, but we also will have kind of like a AAU team that travels around. We're also going to be able to take the best football players. Trent's going to be able to coach them and mold them and be able to put that together. So we'll have guys that are traveling, going throughout the state or throughout the country representing the city of Irondale, but we also will have a team here to be able to represent us as well. So we're very excited about that. Okay, June the 10th, we're going to have a movie night in the park. We're going to have 2 in the month of June. June 10th is for children, and June 24th is for adults. Why are you laughing at me? That'll be date night. Do you all mind, can I give you all an inside joke about why I said the 10th is for children and the 24th is for adults? Because when I was asking Kim what was supposed to be on those dates, and we said, well, the children will be on the 10th, but the adult movies will be on the 24th. Adult movies on the 24th?
Get it?
So we didn't want you all to leave saying the city of Irondale is going to have adult movies on the 24th. We're just having movies for adults on the 24th. So you all make sure you get that right. I don't want the wrong people showing up to Beacon Park thinking that it's supposed to be something else. But we will have our fantastic police department there. So if anybody get it mixed up, we'll be able to straighten that out. And my last thing is, I want everybody to prepare to support our First Responders Cornhole Tournament that's going to be held on June the 25th at 11 a.m. at Classic Car Motoring. I know Police Chief Wiggins is working very hard and going through the community and recruiting businesses to be a part of this event. So put it on your calendar that on June the 25th at 11 a.m. we're having a cornhole tournament at Classic Car Motorings, and the funds are going to support 3 Hots and a Cot. That wraps it up for me from the mayor report. I'm going to ask Ms. Liz if she would come up front and share with us the great things that are taking place at the Freshwater Land Trust, and then we will allow our candidates to go ahead and speak. And I do want to say this because I don't plan on saying anything else. I want to thank Representative Neil Rafferty, who's sitting out there in the audience, because he gave $5,000 to the Irondale Community Foundation, and we did not even approach him for this donation. He and Emma was at an event, and Emma sent me a text message saying that Neil wanted to invest into the foundation. And I said, of course Neil can invest into the foundation. So he presented the check at the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast. And Neil, I just wanted to say, thank you for all the support and everything that you do for the city of Irondale. I've already asked him if he would sign off on the grant for us to receive through the Alabama Tourism Department for the music festival. And he said, of course, Mayor, I will be able to do that. So I just want to thank you for your support. Okay, I'm sorry, Liz, now I turn it over to you.
Well, I will try. So, my name is Liz Sims. I'm the Land Conservation Director with the Freshwater Land Trust. We are thrilled. If you were not aware, on May 3rd, we officially opened up the Moon River Canoe Launch on the Cahaba. It is a great facility. It could not have been done without the support of Irondale. It's in Irondale off of 78. We really are excited. It's part of the Cahaba Blueway system. And we also just wanted to give a quick update that we were able to close with the support again of the city of Irondale financially and Jefferson County Department of Health on a key piece of property off of Grants Mill that will allow us to access an additional 150 acres that we currently own that we were not able to open to the public. It's not open yet, but we are working on it, and we're so excited to come back and announce that. But we love our partnership with Irondale. They've been wonderful to work with, and so we're really excited about the recreational opportunities here. It is a beautiful area, and we're very proud to work with y'all. Kenny and Beth and everyone here, appreciate your support. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
And also, I misled you all. I do have one more thing to say, because if I don't say this, then I won't be able to go into the office tomorrow. So I definitely have to give this announcement. About a few weeks ago, our brand new city clerk began to enforce businesses paying their rightfully fees to the city of Irondale. It wasn't popular, and that's why she's letting me do the speech. So when everybody get mad at everyone, they'll come looking for the mayor and not looking for the city clerk. But I want to say within 2 weeks, Lee? Within 5 days, we've been able to collect $16,269.31, which is going into Mayor Stewart's discretionary fund. So I just wanted to make you all aware where we were putting these restricted funds. But no, I just wanted to thank Lee for the job that she's doing. She hasn't been on the job for less than a year. but she's been with me for the last 10, 11 years when I was the city clerk. So I just wanted to thank her for getting those business licenses out and forcing people to come in and pay what they rightfully owe to the city. So thank you, Lee.
All right, I believe I'm aware of three that are running for office. Am I missing anyone? I've got Ms. Powell, Ms. Pike, and Ms. Floyd. Is there anybody else? Okay, gotcha, perfect. Okay, outstanding. Thank you very much. So we'll just go, Ms. Floyd, we'll just go ahead and start with you. We will keep it on a 3-minute timer, okay? Starting as soon as you get to the podium, young lady.
All right. My name is Stephanie Floyd, and I am your candidate for the Jefferson County Board of Education's District 3 seat. I believe, for the most part, you all are familiar with me here. I have had the opportunity to come by on more than one occasion, so I'm grateful for the opportunity to come back for one last push before the election, which is on May the 24th. A few things about me and why I am the best candidate to sit in this seat. Beginning with the fact that I have a bachelor's degree in finance and in real estate. Not only do I have that, I also have a master's of business administration with a focus in corporate finance. Those two things tied together, coupled with my experience, have taught me the importance of investing. It's critically important for us to invest in our children. And as members of the Board of Education, it is our responsibility to do that. And I want to hold us accountable for doing that. I don't know if you are aware, and most of you may not be, but Alabama has the #1 program, preschool program, in the country and has had that title for the last 16 years. Some of you may be completely baffled and think that I did not say what I did say, so I will repeat that. We have the #1 preschool program and have had that title for over 16 years. The sad part of that, unfortunately, is that one, you're not aware of it, and two, it's only offered to 42% of the people that are allowed to partake in that. That's a travesty to me. If we are serious about investing in our children, it starts at the foundation, which is when our children are in preschool. That way, when they come to the opportunity to graduate from a Shades Valley, like you visited recently, not only will our graduates be able to compete in the county with those peoples that are from other districts, but they'll also be able to compete in the state and in the country and in this world in which we live, in which most things operate on the World Wide Web. We'll be able to compete with people that are in different countries. Right now, I wouldn't say that we're eligible to do that on a fair scale. We have some room to grow. My job as being a member of the Board of Education for District 3, which is Centerpoint, Pinson, and Irondale, is to make sure that I make District 3 strong by working with the other members of the board. I would like for you to go out and make sure you go out and vote on May the 24th for Stephanie Floyd for your Board of Education's District 3 seat. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Rafferty, if you would please. Yes, sir.
Well, hello everybody.
Hello.
Pleasure to meet you. Thank you for the recognition and for allowing me the time to come up and speak before you today. So my name is Neil Rafferty. I am running for re-election for House District 54. I can say that back in November when redistricting occurred, I found out that I went from having about 25 constituents in House District 54 to 1,500. So I knew that I had some collaboration and some catching up to do on that front. So one of the first things that I wanted to do was come and meet with the mayor, see what's going on over here, how I can be of any support or any help. And I hope you feel like I followed through on that, and I will be a good partner. That's something I would consider very serious, partnership and collaboration. Some things I've been working on since I've been down in Montgomery has definitely been working on maternal and infant health, as well as mental health. Mental health started with me founding the task force on veteran suicide. There's a very personal story involved with that. And that's evolved into this enormous statewide effort to get more veterans in touch touch with the VA, give them the mental health care they need. From there, I started getting asked to be on other commissions, including the 988 Study Commission, which deals with decriminalizing mental health, and Crisis Divergence Center, trying to get that set up, and the crisis care teams being able to be deployed to deal with people who are in mental health crisis, as opposed to the police or anything like that. Finally, I would say that, you know, I've sponsored a bill called the Alabama Pregnant Workers Fairness Act. It's something that would just provide low, no-cost accommodations to women, so they don't have to choose between, you know, the dignity of earning a living, particularly for the growing family, or, you know, a healthy pregnancy. So I don't think that should be the case. That's something we're going to talk about with maternal nipple mortality. Finally, and I will keep this one as my final point, we were successful this year in extending postpartum coverage for new mothers from just 6 weeks under Medicaid to a full year, which should have a serious impact on maternal mortality rates in the state of Alabama. So those are just a couple of things I've been working on. I'd love to talk to you more, and look forward to partnering with the City of Irondale and City Council to help move us forward together.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Pike?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm Donna Pike. I live here in Irondale. I've driven the school bus here for 26 years, or I drove it for 26 years. I'm retired now, and just let me tell you right now that I'm better than farmers because I've seen a thing or two. And just want to let you know that right now. I have sat up here as a city councilor. During my tenure as a city councilor, I was able to accomplish some things that our citizens are going to enjoy for years to come: green space, sidewalks, and many other things, lighting. The beautiful street signs you see out front was from a grant that we got, and so I'm really proud of that. But I'm more proud of I've been on the school board for the past 6 years. I have advocated for us to create a mental health department, which we have. And as you know, our society is changing, and that's very important for our children to have someone that they can relate to. And we just, we work together beautifully. We represent all realms of the educational system and operations. We have teachers, principals. We have one politician. You know, I think every board needs one politician. So we are moving at lightning speed. We have a wonderful superintendent, Dr. Walter Gonsolin. You know, it's been a learning experience, but I've been able to advocate for so many things. And when I drove the bus, I was very involved in school. I substitute taught. I was a teacher's aide. So I was up close and personal with teachers. And we are doing wonderful things for our educators, because along with our children, we have to remember our educators. They are the lifeblood of our system. And I'm very proud of Jefferson County. I'm very proud of what we have done and what we're going to do. You haven't seen nothing yet, I'm just telling you. So, thank you for letting me speak. Is my time up?
You have 30 seconds, Ms.
Oh,
Pike.
30 seconds. Thanks again. Appreciate it.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Powell?
Miss Ross. Her name is Miss Ross, standing in for Miss Powell. Judge Ross.
I am not Adrian Powell, and I hate that because you missed a treat. I am Katrina Ross. I am one of your district court judges here in Jefferson County, and my cousin, Mr. London, I've been here twice. I've sworn him in twice, so I feel like I'm at home, and he can vouch for me as far as my credibility on behalf of Adrian Powell. And also, it's a little history, Mayor Stewart. I've been knowing your wife We know each other since we were in kindergarten. So she, I mean, well, you weren't in kindergarten.
High school.
Her brother and I were in the same class, and so she's a little younger than me, so. But I've known her for a very, very long
Well, I've been knowing you before my wife knew you because your grandparents live up the street from what in East Thomas. So
It's a family reunion, isn't it?
But I'm really here. That's so true.
Sure. All right.
But I'm here on behalf of Adrian Powell. She's an attorney that has been in my court several times. And I feel like I know her very, very well. And the thing I like about Adrian is that she kind of stays in her lane and she knows when to move. And so I'm in criminal court and I appoint cases and I know Adrian a lot of her cases, when she first got started. And she would come in and she would do what, what she needed to do, and very professional. And basically, Adrian was an excellent trial attorney. She came in my courtroom and wanted to just give everybody away. But she loves domestic relations. Now, I don't know why, because there's some strange people over there. We kid that bar because they're just strange people, but those people over there, they love what they do. And she is just one of those people. She has dedicated her practice to domestic relations. I would say about 80% of her practice is in domestic relations. So a criminal judge over here advocating for her, I must really, really think that she's the best person for the job, and I do. And that's why I'm here asking you to vote for her on May the 24th. That's Adrian Powell, place 23. And I think that you will know that she will serve the citizens of Jefferson County well. She's highly qualified, and she has an endorsement of basically, all the endorsements really. Mr. Rafferty knows. He's been on the campaign with her, and I've known everybody, but she's been endorsed by everybody, and several of the judges, including the presiding judge over there, which is our Judge Patricia Stevens. Thank you, and thanks for just listening to my history.
And finally, Mr. Williams.
Mr. Hale.
Hell.
I'm sorry, I
Hale.
apologize. I misheard that. Appreciate that.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm Wilson Hale. I'm running for office chair for Jefferson County. Violent crime in Jefferson County is ranked at, we're ranked at 13 in the nation, Jefferson County alone. That means 87% of the rest of the nation is safer than we are in Jefferson County. I had the opportunity to speak with a young lady, and she's worried about how her children can go in the front living room and actually sit down and watch TV in a certain neighborhood, in a certain zip code, without having gunfire come through her window. And as the Constitution said, we the people need to stop downplaying what's going on in Jefferson County. Jefferson County has a problem with gunfire. It's gone too long unchecked. It plagues our schools, neighborhood, and county as a whole. Our children should be able to go outside and play with other children in their yard safely, while our parents and grandparents should be able to sit on their porch without the fear of being killed by gunfire or gun violence. Sadly, those are not our only issues dealing with safety and some of the failed promises, yet failed tactics of the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. Jefferson County is dangerously unprepared and unprotected for a major crisis. We recall summer 2020, protests turned to riots here in Jefferson County, exposed the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office tremendously for lack of crisis preparation. Now, it's not a matter of if a crisis is coming to Jefferson County, they are, but where will you be? My disaster and crisis readiness plan will ensure that we are prepared as well as protected. Although I'm not the incumbent, I am the most confident candidate in this race with the experience and the proven skill set to address these safety issues and of concern. I have 35 years of law enforcement experience. I'm a retired Alabama State Trooper, Assistant Post Commander, Birmingham. 24 years United States Army, first sergeant with several tours of duty. How am I doing on my time?
You are at 2:02, sir.
Furthermore, I want you, the citizens of Iron give me the opportunity to make the jail safe. Besides losing numerous inmates from within inside the Jefferson County Jail custody, we have had too many unexplained deaths and preventable fatalities inside the Jefferson County Jail itself. With safety as my #1 priority, it is equally important to me that the accused, as well as the deputy themselves, are treated humanely and with dignity. Starting with how we treat the inmates in the jail, how the inmates are fed, how the friends and family and loved ones are treated when they come to visit during visitation time. I will bring confidence, ethics, experience, and justice to the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. So if you're seeking for a safer Jefferson County, I ask that you do your research on all your candidates for sheriff. I welcome that. But if safety, integrity, and justice is something you would like to have within your sheriff, say hell yes, and vote Wilson Hale for Jefferson County.
Nice. Thank you, Mr. Hale. I would be remiss if I did not ask if we have any other candidates running for office. All right. Thank you for all for joining us tonight, and we appreciate your presence. Thank you. All right. At this time, we'd be looking for any department head reports this evening. No department head reports? Fair enough. Council member, standing committee, or special committee reports. I'll go ahead and start with this. I just want to say a big thank you to Public Works as we continue to receive some street paving and things of that nature. I've heard some concerns about some various areas. I will be rolling those up to the appropriate people. It's just things are looking good in D2, and I just couldn't be happier about it. So I just appreciate everyone who had a hand in that. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Public Works, all of our first responders, and look forward to the future. Councilman Sims?
Thank you, everybody, for being here. I wanted to give the April recycled numbers. So we had 36% waste contaminated, I guess, out of the recycling for April, which was a little bit of a jump up from the previous month, but I guess lower than it had been. So hopefully we'll keep trending downward. I also got to attend the Alabama League of Municipalities conference last week. Amazing, all the stuff I learned. It's like a fire hose of amazing information that hopefully we can bring back and help all of y'all, help move the city forward with all the stuff we learned. That's it.
Okay. Councilman Box?
Thank you, Council President. Just thank everybody for coming. I guess everybody said that so far, so you'll get at least 2 more up here today. But I'd like to draw your attention to the Senior Community Center, or the Senior Center up there. Probably need some volunteers for help. It's an awesome place to go right now. A lot of activities going on with the new directors and all. Also on our public safety, just commending our fire and police department for the awesome job they're doing. And Chief, with the new rescue units, I think the productivity there has been phenomenal. I don't know how many lives we've saved at that point, but I'd like to hear about that sometime when you have a chance, Chief. With that said, remember the election coming up. A lot of us in District 4 will actually be voting in Trussville instead of here. So save yourself, do a little bit of research before you go, or you'll be coming down here saying hey and then driving to Trussville. That's all.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for being here and for tuning in live stream. I too want to commend Miss Lee Allison for taking the initiative and collecting on a lot of these monies that were due to the city. Keep up the great work. That is outstanding, Lee. And I would also like to note that I was at the Alabama League of Municipalities Convention. There were some amazing speakers, and we got a chance to meet with various officials from other municipalities to get ideas from them as to how they're dealing with their issues. One of the things I would like to do is I have notes that I took. I didn't get to cover everyone that spoke because there were like 7 different speakers, and I recorded everything and tried to summarize the notes to keep you informed as well as our council members that weren't able to attend. The first one that addressed the group was Governor Ivey, and there are a lot of good things going on in the state of Alabama, and they're also coming to Irondale. We're seeing some of that construction as a result of the efforts and the support that we're receiving. And Governor Ivey stressed that local government is closest to the community. And we, council members and mayor, we know our people. We know our issues that we're dealing with as well as our business community. She said providing funding is necessary in order to get these things accomplished. And much needed water and sewer projects are part of that need to draw in more economic development. She stressed that they want to continue hearing from us. She also spoke of our current infrastructure needs and noted that Alabama's roads and bridges definitely need attention, but significant progress has been made thanks to Rebuild Alabama. Investing in infrastructure, she stressed, is investing in the future, and the state is proud to partner with its local governments in these efforts. She also noted that the state has administered infrastructure projects in almost all 67 counties. They have implemented 1,500 new road and bridge projects worth over $5 billion. And in her words, she said, "We're just getting started, and the best is yet to come." Alabama's economic comeback, she said, is leading the nation, and the driving force for this success are the local municipalities. In 2021, she noted that Alabama saw investments totaling $7.7 billion, and they generated over 10,000 new jobs. And 2021 was the second best year in this state's history. That says a lot. There's been significant job growth, and the areas where we've seen the job growth are in areas such as distribution, automotive, metals, IT, agriculture, and food products. She also talked about our record unemployment rate, which is definitely a record of 2.9%, and we want to bring it down lower. She also stressed that her door is open to the leaders in the state's municipalities, and every member of her cabinet and her staff are available to let us know about the resources that are available. And if we don't have a contact yet, and I made a note of this, she said call Casey Rogers, who's on her staff. And so I've got Casey Rogers' name and phone number, and I will share that with the rest of our council members because they're ready to help us and support us in the things that we need to do to continue to move Irondale forward. We also had Nick Saban, that was a guest speaker, and there were a few things that he said. He was talking to us and giving us ways that we could be much more effective leaders. That's why we had him there. And one of his comments that he made really was outstanding if you think about it. He said, if you want to please everybody, don't be a leader, sell ice cream. Now, why did he say that? Because we can't please everybody. And there are times that you're going to need to think of the best interest, and he used football players, best good friends looking out for each other. In the case of municipality leaders, you need to think of the best interest of your municipality, its residents, its citizens, everyone around you. And sometimes it means making unpopular decisions because you are concerned for the best interest. So if you want to make everyone happy, just know that you're not going to succeed in leading. You're going to have to say no sometimes. And I thought that was very clear in the example that he sets with his football team. He's got 6 national championships, and he hadn't been there that long. But he can recognize leaders, and he develops them. And he was giving us these pointers. And I won't talk more about Nick Saban, but he had a lot of good pointers for us. We also had a session that was entitled Ask Your Attorney, which had the Alabama League of Municipalities attorneys that were sitting there. And I've shared some of the things with our legal counsel, April Danielson. She's very much aware of some of these Senate bills that have been passed, or bills that have been passed in our legislature. One of them that will interest you is one that just passed, and it's a new statute to the Open Meetings Act that deals with virtual meetings. They're now allowing elected officials to participate virtually via telephone or video conference or some other equipment where council members can hear each other. However, there is an exception, provided that there is a physical quorum of the council members at this facility here at City Hall. So we have to have a quorum in order to have another council member participate virtually. The council member can participate, he can vote, count, and also count towards a roll call. The only other stipulation is, you're not sitting out on the beach and participating virtually. That's not the reason that this bill was passed. This bill was passed for council members that may be ill. Some unforeseen accident and they've got a broken leg and are not able to get out. They'll be able to participate and represent their district by virtual means. The other thing is that we as a council have to have a written policy in order to give council members the ability to participate by virtual means if they are ill. And this law will become effective July 1st of this year, 2022. And we need to have these detailed procedures, communication, equipment that's going to be used. We need to explain how the public can access this meeting and how the voting is going to be conducted. So all of these things need to be put in our resolution or ordinance that we pass in order for us to be able to do this for the benefit of our council members as well as our residents in Irondale. There were some other excellent questions. I'm not going to go into all of them, but they were very, very good questions. I'm sharing those with all of the members of the city council that couldn't be there. We also had roundtable discussions with municipal leaders from other municipalities that were comparable in size to Irondale. We shared ideas, we shared concerns and ways that we could deal with these. We had another session which dealt with grant writing, and I have several notes that I will be submitting to our council members. I've been summarizing all of the meetings to give them that, but there were so many meetings. Another one had to do with, let me go through my list here. A young lady that is a national known figure, and Mayor Stewart and Lee Allison and Councilman Sims and I sat in on that. Her name is Brittany Wagner. She's done an amazing work throughout this country, and she was sharing tips to help us in being able to help youth. Her session was titled Tips and Tough Love for Bringing Your A Game to Life. She's a nationally respected athletic, academic, and motivation speaker who's best known for her role as the breakfast star of the hit Netflix documentary series entitled Last Chance U. She meets with young kids that are in football that may be struggling, and she demonstrated how what you may see on the surface, there's a lot more that's at the root. And when she shared what she found out about some of these youth, breaks my heart. I think it broke the heart of everyone there. But what she was able to do, once she recognized it, and that individual was able to make a complete turnaround within a year's time frame, that's how you work with youth. Not everyone comes from the same background. We don't know what our youth are faced with, but we do need to be there to support them and help them in the best way that we can, because that is the future of our country, and our youth do need us. So I'm very happy to see that these things are beginning to happen in Irondale. Miss Wagner was amazing, and I was so thankful. I think Miss Allison has heard her before. Was so thankful that I got to sit in on her session, because it was a learning experience for all of us. And that's all I have to report. Council members, I'll get the rest of the notes to you. I've given you the first set. I'll get the rest of them to you later on.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilman London.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Council President. Just a few things. First of all, Mayor, let me make sure I say this live, that you were just joking about the $16,000, because I don't want that on Facebook, that the $16,000 is going to go into your, okay, I want to make sure I clear that up for you. I want to make sure you clear that up, but that'll be on Facebook tomorrow that he's going to put in your, okay, so I want to make sure I clear that up. And then also on the cornhole tournament, if you know if anybody, what myself and Chief also been going around to different schools, colleges, and trying to get some equipment signed, some basketball, some football, some jersey. If you know anybody that want to sign a jersey, Auburn, Alabama, Roll Tide, War Eagle, UAB, we'll be happy to sign it, because they're going to have an auction at this cornhole tournament. And so we've been going around and get some different things. So if you know if anybody has some connection there, and I'm looking at some of these politicians, may have some connections there to get a signed jersey or something, we'd be love to have that. But like the mayor said, it's going to be for a good cause. hot for the cots,
3 hots.
3 hots in the cot, 3 hots in the cots for the VA hospital, and I know that's your passion, so we're looking forward to that. So also, we had a meeting by Ruffner Park on May the 4th. May the 4th, in that meeting with myself, Mayor was getting a big award, so he couldn't be there. Our city clerk, Lee Allison, Frank Pennington was there. Coach Rubin, the football coach at Shays Valley, was there. Jackie Crandall, who was a citizen and a parent. And then Chuck Kelly, who's our landscape architect, was also there. And we talked about a few things about Ruffner Park, and we realized that we only have a starting budget of $700,000. Praying that we can get that up. Hopefully we get that up soon. But some of the things that we talked about is the dog park is out, the amphitheater is out, but we're going to redo the football fields. The first plan was to tear everything down and then start over, which costs a lot more money. But I think our fields are good. We all looked at them, and I think Frank talked about our fields. Most of our fields are good shape. So we're just going to redo those fields. If you ever get a chance, go over to Mountain Brook High School. You can go up 459, get off of Liberty Park, and go up the back way. They just built a brand new softball field. But if you don't really pay attention, you think it's one field. But when you really pay close attention, it's 3 fields. It's one regulation field, and it's got 2 small fields in the corner. So they got a lot of use out of one field, and that's some of the things that we talked about doing. We have the big, large field there. Some of the things that we're talking about doing on that field. Also, just make it really short, trying to make the field multi-purpose. And there's some points at the end. We talked about the Gardendale field. They tore all of their fields down. We're not going to do that. And they're going to totally do their Choccolocco Falls. I'm not sure if you heard about that. If you ever go to Oxford, you go Oxford, get off the second Oxford exit, make a right, and boom, you'll see it. It's probably 200 acres. And it's got baseball and football and big lake and walking trail, and just drive. It's just 45 minutes drive. Just drive down there and take a look, and it is awesome. We don't have that kind of property to do that here, but we just talk about that. And then we also talked about maybe bringing pickleball down there. We talked about it's very inexpensive courts that we can put there, but we talked about that. So the plan is for him to come back in 3 to 4 months with a plan, hope to bid it out August, September, and then be ready to go after that. So, but he'll come back before we make a final decision on that, and we'll have a discussion. Lastly, 2 more things. I have a 4th grade granddaughter, and she is bugging me about basketball. So be looking forward to, I'm going to be putting some stuff out. I'm going to get ready to start a 4th grade girls basketball team. I'm going to coach it. And then I'm going to also do a 4th grade boys basketball team. So if you have any 4th graders that's out there, she's really, really wearing me out. So I'm going to have to start something. And so I'll be putting some stuff out here soon on my Facebook page and let you know. I know school is out, so it's a great time. School's out. We'll have a meeting and just see what kind of interest we got in that. And then my last thing is that just everybody, Buffalo, New York, it's brought me to tears. My brother-in-law brother is the police chief in that city, in that community. And when I heard about it, just compassion for the families, compassion even for the guy that did the shooting, to see how somebody can be so mean to do that kind of stuff. But if that doesn't draw you to tears, then I'm telling you, you don't have a heart. So just pray for that city, pray for that community, pray for those police chiefs and all of those family as you lay down tonight, inside your bed. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to note, to piggyback on what Councilman Box, I believe, said in regard to Public Works and our water department. I know my constituents are going to be asking about the expenditures on our expense report of over $400,000. A lot of that money is because of the meters and the water sewage, the drains, that work that had to take place, as well as the paving that's taking place, and that's why our expense report is higher than usual. There's a lot of good things that are going on, guys, and that's what the bulk of that money is for. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. At this time, we look for any reports of boards or non-council committees. Yes, sir.
Good evening, can y'all hear me? My name's Marty Schwartz, I'm chairman of the Iredell Basin Board. And our responsibility is to assess properties that are in disrepair, as well as weed and shrub problems. And one of our responsibilities is to then report these properties to the council, and then they will take action. The other responsibility we have is to present the costs for any property that's demolished at city expense. And I'm here tonight to present to you all property at 1586 Hillside Drive. On July 15th of 2021, a certified letter was sent to the owners. On September the 5th, 2021, a newspaper notice was placed for abatement. On January the 25th, 2022, the house was demolished at city expense. And then coming up on 5/22 of this month, a newspaper notice will be placed for a lien on that property. The total amount, including all those items, is $4,088.81. And that's, I'm just reporting that to you guys.
Thank you, Marty. Absolutely. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Marty.
Any other reports from boards or non-council committees this evening? All right, fair enough. We do not have any public hearings. At this time, we'll move forward into the deliberation phase for agenda items. Let's see here. The first item on the consent agenda is a Resolution 2022 R89 that authorizes the execution of a service agreement with the Exceptional Foundation. Mayor, is there anything you would like to say about Exceptional Foundation?
Yes, we supported them on last year, and they do provide services to the citizens in Irondale. I really enjoyed going over there because when we went over there to deliver them the check, number one, they didn't know that we were coming. Number two, they were getting ready to go on a field trip. But they were so enthusiastic that we would think about them to be able to do that, because it was just really the right thing to do. But other than that, Council President, I don't have anything else to add to it.
Okay.
Oh, I would say the funding source is the mayor's discretionary fund.
Copy, thank you. Councilman London, any questions on that item?
Yes, if you think you're having a bad day, go down there. Yeah, it'll change your attitude. Or just come to my classroom. It'll change the classroom. Yeah.
Councilwoman
Right,
Cuellar?
right.
No
Let's do
comments,
it.
no questions.
No comments, gotcha. Councilman Box, any questions? All right, Councilman Sims?
No.
And no question from myself as well. Item number 1, would we say that can stay on the consent agenda?
Yes.
Nods in the affirmative. All right, cool. Item number 2, resolve the resolution 2022 R90 authorizes the execution of agreement with Alabama Power Company for interstate roadway lighting. I've heard a lot about this from various municipalities. Mayor, if you could take us through this one.
Yes, when I became mayor, one of the things I had heard is everybody talked about how dark our interstates
Oh, my
were.
goodness.
So the Mayor's Association was going to work with Alabama and ALDOT to be able to get it done. However, that ended up breaking down. I was kind of like in the mode of, I guess you could say, Martin Luther King, if you remember the book that he wrote that's called We Can't Wait. So my thing was, we can't wait on Alabama Power and ALDOT for all of them to work everything out with the Mayor's Association. So I began to talk to my good friends at Alabama Power, Mr. Terrence Moultrie and Ms. Monica Machan, that's in the back, which is the representative for Alabama Power that works with the city of Irondale. So working through that, we've already gone to ALDOT. We've had a talk with Mr. Cooper there. He assured us that ALDOT would take care of the infrastructure. So the next phase is to get with Alabama Power to make sure that there are lights that are on the poles. So that's what this is about tonight. And if this is adopted tonight, we will become the first or maybe one of the few municipalities that's in a position to be able to put lights on their interstate. So you may still ride through Birmingham and you won't get any lights, but we're kind of like Motel 6. I think that's the commercial.
Leave the light on.
Got the light
We
on
leave
for
the
you.
lights on in Irondale. So you don't have to worry about that coming through Irondale. So if you all have any questions, this is Mr. Terrence right here. So he's here to answer any questions about the agreement, the lights, and how all of that's going to play out.
Councilman London?
Well, I just have one. Once it's gonna get passed, so counting on that. When would the work start? Begin.
Well, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thanks for having
Good evening.
me. Again, my name is Terrence Moultrie. I am the light sales manager for Olive Power, cover all the street light, LED lighting, also commercial industrial customers. And I live in Trussville and I drive this way all the time, so I support Irondale locally.
Amen.
And so we're glad to see any project with you all. But as far as the timeline, it just depends on once an agreement is signed. Because our piece would be the illumination of the interstate. And so with the partnership and discussion with the city of Irondale and AlDOT, the first thing that has to take place is the repair upgrade of the infrastructure. Because we can put fixtures on your poles, but if the infrastructure needs to be updated as far as making sure the lights work properly, so we'll have to time it with AlDOT and the city of Irondale. But once we sign an agreement action for the fixture piece of it, the agreement that you all have from us, we order the fixtures at that point. And typically, because of supply chain, it's been about 16 weeks. And then once we get those fixtures in stock, because we did an infill audit of the city of Irondale Interstate, which is I-20 and 459. And that we discovered, including high mast lighting, you have about 293 fixtures. That's a good number of fixtures to have to order and keep in stock. So you're looking at easily about 3 to 4 months for the fixtures to come in, and then we'll start work at that point.
Thank you.
Councilman McQuayer?
He asked the question I was gonna ask.
There you
Thank
go.
You're welcome.
Councilman Box?
Ditto.
All right. Councilman Sims?
Looking forward to being able to see better. Thank you.
And lastly, I appreciate this, appreciate y'all for being with us tonight. I cannot tell you how long that this has been an issue, people talking in our ears about this, the poles on the ground, all aspects of this deal. I'm very, very excited about this. So thank you very much for this. Thank you, Mayor, for working it out.
And I would just like to add this, Terrence is still working out to see how he's going to give it to Irondale for free. So that's, I always ask them that all the time. So he and Monica, they are going to use us as a prototype. So a part of that is that they're going to put them in for free.
Well, the good thing is I travel that area, and the light goes out, I can get it fixed for you.
Okay.
There you go.
So they do parks too, you say? That's what you said? They do
Yeah,
parks?
they do a bunch of stuff.
Well, thank you very much for y'all's presence tonight and look forward to the partnership.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right. Item number 2, consent. Keep it on a consent?
Yes.
Nods in the affirmative. All right. Item number 3, Resolution 2022-R91 authorizes the execution of a service agreement with the Cahaba River Society Incorporated in the amount of $25,000. I know that we have Ms. Beth Stewart with us. Please, if you would like to come on up, you're no stranger to this room. And then any comments you have on this, and then, like I said, we can ask Ms. Beth Stewart any questions that we might have. So please come on up to the podium, Beth. Anything that you would like to say about this, Mayor?
No, I would just say that it's a long time coming. The Cahaba has been in Irondale as long as Irondale has been in Irondale, and we take advantage of it. We talk about the Cahaba being here, the launching points, most used on the Cahaba throughout the whole Cahaba system. I just felt that we should be good partners and to be able to support them. Ms. Beth has already came up with 3 magnificent ideas of how those funds could be used to benefit the city of Irondale, and one of them is right there at the intersection on 20th. Am I right about that, Beth?
Of the area along 78 and Simply 10, and right across from the exit. We'd love to see something that would create some improvements to Shades Creek, take care of that erosion, make Shades Creek healthier, and also create a park-like feel and some landscaping that's much more beautiful access to the city there, a gateway that also complements the businesses in the area, as well as take care of what we think are probably either some existing sewage leaking problems or are gonna be. You know, we don't want sewage leaking in. That's
Same.
one of the project ideas that we can use this money to move forward.
Councilman Lennon, any questions?
Well, I saw something on Facebook about Cahaba. They saw tags from Georgia and Florida and Tennessee. I mean, they're from all over the United States. So that's exciting.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
No questions. I'm looking forward to the work that you're gonna be doing. That's a great idea.
Councilman Box?
Just one question. Does the society help a body of water that may have to be located in Irondale established whether they're a source point or a non-source point?
I'm not quite sure what you're asking. A source point is when you've got pollution coming out of a pipe, and a non-point source is when it's running over the ground like a construction site or runoff from a, agricultural operation or something like that.
I was asking more from the fact of that the body of water supplies the Cahaba.
Which streams actually supply the Cahaba?
That's correct, and then flows into a lake, or underground streams flow into that lake, so it could be deemed a source point for the Cahaba.
Yeah, I mean, all of Iredale just about is in the Cahaba watershed. I think all of it is, and either Shades Creek, and Shades Creek is our largest tributary. It doesn't come into the river until you're down in Shelby County, but it's a huge addition to the river. And everything else that's on the other side of the hills that brings Shades Creek goes directly into the Cahaba, and that all comes down as our drinking water source as well for those of us who are on the water board.
I'd love to get with you after the meeting sometime.
You
if
bet. I'd
possible.
love to hear from you.
Thank you.
Councilman Sims?
No questions.
And as far as myself, glad that you're turning an eye to that area. I remember walking the side of that creek many, many moons ago with several other agencies and stuff like that. So anything that y'all can do around that area of Shades Creek, I think would be fantastic, and look forward to any progress.
Thank you. And if you'd be so kind with folks from the school board here and folks who have wonderful connections with the schools, we also would love to work more with the Irondale schools with our environmental education program. Thus far, we've taken 40,000 students and teachers into the river for hands-on environmental education that helps build interest in science and environmental careers. And we would just love to serve more of the Irondale schools with that program. If there's anybody who'd like to talk to me about it, I would love to talk to you about it.
And you can add one bus driver that's in there.
Trying to get reelected.
Going down the Cahaba. How fun, how much fun we had.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Ms. Beth. We look forward to the partnership.
Council President?
Yes,
can I
yes, sir.
take a mayoral privilege for 1 second?
Okay.
In church, we call it pastoral.
Yes,
but
sir, I got you.
we call it mayoral. I would just like for everyone to thank Miss Jenny Brown. Jenny is a steward of the Cahaba. She's not on the city's payroll at all, and she is a wonderful volunteer, and she's a champion for the Cahaba.
Yeah.
And I just believe sometimes we need to give people their roses when they are alive. So, Miss Jenny, if you would stand up just so we can thank you for the tireless work that you do on the Cahaba, and you do it because of your love.
That was a well-used mayoral privilege, so there
Thank
you go.
you, I appreciate it.
And thank you, Jenny. I know you IM me quite often, and I did see your recent IM. I know I haven't responded back to you because I honestly don't know what to do about that, but we'll talk more. All right? Thank you. I know you don't.
Yeah.
All
We
right.
know that.
So with that item number 3, would we continue to add that to the consent agenda?
Yes. Yes.
Nods in the affirmative, all right. Oof. Item number 4, Resolution 2022-R92 authorizes the execution of a service agreement with Ruffner Mountain Nature Coalition Incorporated in the amount of $50,000. Mayor, I know we've seen this one before. Anything in particular you want to say about this?
No, it's equal to the contribution that we made to them on last year. They're to be able to do work within Ruffner, but also to be able to do work on the Irondale mountainside. I don't have a report. Councilwoman Cuellar asked me that I have a report of what has taken place last year, but I will get a report to you all by the next council meeting to let you know what it has transpired. But again, that's one of the natural assets that we couldn't pay for it, and to be able to receive the accolades and the people love the Cahaba and the mountains. And so we have appropriate opportunity to be able to participate with someone and not even own the assets. So that's pretty much about it, Council President.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilman London, any questions
No
there?
question.
Councilwoman Cuellar, anything else? Okay. Councilman Box?
No question.
Councilman Sims?
None.
And no questions myself. Can I keep this on the consent agenda?
Yes.
All right. Item number 5, Resolution 2022 R93 accepts the bid of Advanced Disposal Services Star Ridge Landfill received for MSW and green waste disposal at an approved sanitary landfill. Mr. Pennington, I believe this has your name on it. Anything that you would like to say regarding this one?
Just if there's any questions.
Okay, fair enough. Councilman London, do you have any questions
No
for Mr.
question.
Pennington? Councilwoman Cuellar?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment and a thank you. I want to thank you, Frank, for going out and getting these bids, because the landfill fees had skyrocketed up to $51. Is that not correct? And he was able to get it back down to $35. And so it's a savings for our municipality, and I want to thank you for doing that, Frank.
Thank you. Councilman Box?
Just echoing Councilwoman Cuellar's comments, but one question, Mr. Pennington. Will we be able to use any of the landfills in the advanced disposal system, or just Star Ridge? Time to time, Star Ridge is closed, but I've known of before that as part of the contract, you can actually transport to other locations when it's closed.
Yes. Yes, sir, we would be able to use it as a landfill.
Thank you, sir. That's all.
Nice. Councilman Sims?
No questions.
Okay, and myself, no questions. Thank you, Frank. Agreed to keep this on the consent agenda? It's an affirmative, all right. I'm recommending to the council to postpone item number 6 and number 7 for 2 weeks. Mayor has agreed that it will not cause any issues over the next 2 weeks. That being said, I know that Councilwoman Cuellar has some things that she would like to discuss, as well as that I think we've all agreed to discuss. These 2 items could be a part of that with the Finance Committee. And Councilwoman Cuellar, I believe you were thinking the next meeting prior? Or were you talking about the second meeting in June?
Whichever one works best.
Okay. Does the so this would be a finance work session on prior to the next council meeting. We'll just go ahead, obviously use these 2 weeks to research item number 6 and number 7, get any initial questions out that you have. We are talking about financial policies for the city, so I think it does deserve a moment. And then we can have that work session or finance meeting in order to address those issues. So it would be 5 o'clock. I'm fine with it being in front of the next council meeting, first Tuesday of the month. How do we feel about that? I'm seeing nods from Councilman Sims. You're good, Councilman London? Councilman Box? Okay, Councilman. So we will, we'll figure out what we want to call it, a work session or a finance committee meeting, but let's just go ahead and get that, pencil in that 5 o'clock for the first Tuesday, and then we can look forward to taking action on those 2 items as we move into that council meeting. Is everybody good with that? Councilman London, you good with that?
Good with that.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Sims?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So item number 6 and item number 7, when this agenda is introduced, please postpone item number 6 and number 7. Item number 8, Resolution 2022 R96, setting public hearing for June 7th, 2022 at 6 o'clock p.m. for public comments concerning proposed standard code adoptions. This was introduced by Mr. Doss. But I know, Mayor, you can probably enlighten the public a little bit more on this. I know I've been a passive attendant on these meetings, but definitely looking forward to some of the aspects of it.
Yes, we're just one in 22 was for us to adopt the latest property code thing that is out there. So that's what this would be for is the, dealing with the 2021 property code standards.
Councilman London, any questions there?
No question.
Councilwoman Quayer?
No questions.
Councilman Box? Councilman Sims?
None.
And myself, none. Any opposition to keeping 8 on consent? Are we good?
Good.
Okay. Final item on the consent agenda, Resolution 2022 R97 authorizes the donation of $3,500 to Shades Valley High School for use by the Shades Valley High School Future Business Leaders of America Student Organization. Mayor, this has your name on it. Anything you would care to say about this resolution?
Well, I would also like to say that Councilman London authorized $1,000 to come from his discretionary fund,
Okay.
so that's why we have the 3,500. 2,500 will be coming from the mayors, and then 1,000 will be coming from Councilman London.
Fantastic. Councilman London, you co-sponsor any questions or any
No question.
statements? Okay. Councilwoman Quayer?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
No questions.
Councilman Sims?
Can I add 1,000 to that, if you like, from my discretionary fund?
So we have a motion to update this?
Yes, we can do that.
So we have a motion to update this resolution. Councilman London, any questions or
Councilman
statements?
Sims, we never turn down money, so we appreciate you supporting the FBLA as well.
Yeah.
Are you good with the update to the resolution?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Anybody
Councilwoman
else?
Quayer? Are you good? Councilman Box?
Yes.
And then obviously you're okay with it, and I'm okay with it. So the language will be changed. You interjected an extra $1,000, correct? Okay,
4,500 total.
perfect. So when this agenda is introduced, if that will also be changed as read. I'm assuming we're good with this being on consent based on the affirmatives, all right? Item number 1 in the regular agenda, resolve that Resolution 2022 R98 authorizes the execution of a lease agreement with Republic First National for 2 tractors, cutter attachments, a miscellaneous tracked 60-inch remote control slope mower with winch, don't know what it is, sounds really cool, and other and other miscellaneous items in the amount of $302,813.47 for the Public Works Department. Councilman London, this is a non-budgeted expense, but from what I understand with Mr. Frank Pennington, we've got a lease that's kind of coming to an end. So this is almost kind of a housekeeping item. Would you kind of agree with that, Mr. Pennington? Okay. Councilman London, any questions for Mr. Pennington?
No, I don't know what it is, but yeah, sounds
It
good to me.
sounds kinda cool, right?
Yeah, it sounds cool.
All right. Councilwoman Quayer, any questions on that?
No, but I do know what it is, because I
Okay.
asked him.
Outstanding. Councilman Box, any questions?
No question.
All right. Councilman Sims.
No questions.
All right, outstanding. Since this is technically an unbudgeted expense, we will run this through, it will remain a resolution, but we will run it through our ordinance procedures, so if we could be prepared for that. Item number 2 on the regular agenda, similar situation, ordain that ordinance 2022-07 modifies Chapter 3, Article 2, Animals, adding Division 9 entitled Tethering of Animals, and to repeal all ordinances and part of the ordinances of the City of Irondale in conflict therewith. This has got my name on it. We spoke about it at our ordinance meeting. Any follow-up questions, Councilman
No.
London?
Good.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
No follow-up, I'm just glad that we finally have this on.
Agreed. Thank you, legal, for that. Councilman Box, any?
I'm good.
All right, Councilman Sims?
Good, thank you.
Outstanding. And then myself, no questions there. Once again, ordinance process. And finally, our last item for the evening, ordain that ordinance 2022-8 grants a non-exclusive franchise to Telepac Networks Incorporated, DBA C Spire Business. Mayor, do you mind taking us through this?
It just allows another cable company to have access to the right-of-way in the city of Irondale to be able to lay their cables, and also for the city, based on customers that they have that is using that particular provider, to receive 5% as a franchise fee.
Existing easements already being used by other utility
Yes.
companies, essentially. Councilman
Yes.
London, any questions?
No question.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
Comments, I'm very happy to see that we've got C Spire. They were at the Alabama League of Municipalities last year and provided us with a lot of information. I was very impressed with them. Our residents will now have another choice to make for their fiber-based communication systems. So I'm very happy about that, and bringing several options to our residents. This way they can decide who they want to go with.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Box?
No question.
Councilman Sims?
I just want to add, I actually said into that session that they did, talking about fiber in Alabama, and they're spending a lot of money bringing fiber optic cable into communities all across their state. So this popped out right when I came back. I was like, I just saw that. So
Right on.
excited to see them come here, because they sound like they're doing great things.
Okay. Outstanding. So once again, that will be our third item that will need to go through our ordinance process. Yes, sir.
One of the things I wanted to mention too is that they will provide what is called dark fiber to the city, which means that if we have two to four facilities that we would like to connect with, they'll provide that service to the city, and it'd be absolutely free.
Fantastic. Thank you. All right. So we have deliberated all of our agenda items at this time. I would ask for the approval of the form of the agenda with the appropriate modifications.
I make a motion that we approve the form of the agenda with postponing items number 6 and 7, and that we amend item number 9 from 3,500 to 4,500, and that we add Councilman London and Sims to the sponsors, and adding, I don't think we need to add the dollar amounts, but they're offering to put 1,000 each from their discretionary.
Okay. We have an agenda on the floor. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Okay. At this time, we would accept public comments on agenda items only. So these would be the items that we have been deliberating and discussing. We will take any comments on those items specifically. Anyone? Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I just would like to ask, the dog park is not gonna happen.
We will cover that. Come back around questions for on non-agenda items. Yep. No, you're good. That's all good. Any other questions on agenda items? Yes, ma'am.
I haven't, this is not said often enough, but as a member of the Jefferson County Board of Education, I cannot thank you enough for all that you do for the Ironville schools. You have no idea what your money can contribute to, whether that's a garden, whether that's, telecommunications to another country, or all of the wonderful things that this council and this mayor has enabled these schools to have the opportunity to be enlightened on. And I know that may sound far-fetched, but it is the truth, isn't it? It is the truth. And I know that teachers and principals and students thank you every day. And to contribute to the leadership, the future leadership in Shades Valley, our children are our future, and thank you so much. And John London, I want to thank you because the whole time we were on the council, you were bringing the students here, you were introducing them, you were at basketball, essay writing, you name it, music. And that gave us a chance to see the wonderful things that our educational system provides. So
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other comments on agenda items specifically? All right. Fair enough. At this time, I would like to see if we could go ahead and get a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda to include items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, and 9 as previously mentioned for modification.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. All right. On to the regular agenda. If someone could go ahead and begin the process for item number 1.
I make a motion that resolution 2022 R-98 be considered read.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I make a motion that we suspend all rules that would prevent the immediate consideration of resolution 2022 R-98.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call. Councilman London?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Sims?
Yes.
And myself, yes.
I make a motion that resolution 2022 R-98 be approved and adopted.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Item number 2 on regular agenda.
Make a motion that ordinance number 2022-07 be considered read.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion we suspend all rules that will prevent the immediate adoption of ordinance number 2022-07.
Second.
Motion and a second, roll call. Councilman London?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Sims?
Yes.
And myself, yes.
Make a motion that ordinance number 2022-07 be considered approved and adopted.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And finally, item number 3 on regular agenda.
I make a motion that ordinance 2022-08 be considered read.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion that we suspend all rules that would prevent the immediate consideration of ordinance 2022-08.
Second.
Motion and a second, roll call. Councilman London?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Sims?
Yes.
And myself, yes.
I make a motion that ordinance number 2022-08 be approved and adopted.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. That takes us through our items. Before we get into council, comments to the council on non-agenda items, I will pause and just let you know that we will be going into executive session. I will summarize that here in just a moment. So after we finish our comments, we will motion to move into executive session. We will finish executive session in another room. We will finish this council meeting in another room. So once we move into that, feel free to disperse. All right? So that being said, at this time, we would take any comments on non-agenda items. This would be you. Come on up.
I was just,
You come-
wondering, I thought I had.
You come on up.
You can come on up. We do need to get your name and address for the record.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Mhm.
Oh, I wasn't sure it was myself. I was just wondering, did I hear that the dog park is gonna be canceled, right?
So what you heard was that we've already moved the dog park out of the plans for Ruffner, and we're working on that plan at Ellard. So it's not scrapped; it is just relocated. So it was accurate what he said in regards to the dog park's not a part of Ruffner, but that's because it's already been moved to Ellard.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. We're in the planning phase right now with the designer.
And the other day I was speaking to my neighbor, Amber, what's her last, Amber Owen, or Amber Lai. They live at 1819 Second Avenue North. And I know this is kind of none of my business, but you were talking about the lights on the interstate, and I know that the outdated lights are an incredible expense. But she continues to pay Alabama Power for a light to shine in her yard that doesn't work anymore, and she's had 2 cars stolen. And I'm just wondering if there's anybody that she can call. If there's anybody that she can call. Okay, because they're in a little bit of a pain.
So it's
Yeah.
They would be happy with that. But, anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Name and address, ma'am, for the clerk.
My name and address?
Yes, ma'am.
Is Gretchen Thiel, Thiel, and my address is 2205 Second Avenue North. And I'm apartment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Any other comments to the council on non-agenda items tonight? Going once, going twice. All right. At this time, I would accept a motion to move into executive session to discuss preliminary negotiations involving matters of trade or commerce in which the government body is in competition with private individuals or entities or other governmental bodies.
Motion.
Motion? Second? All in favor? Aye. Outstanding. Thank you all for joining us this evening. We'll conclude this meeting in another room. It was wonderful to see you all this evening.